Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. Uh, Caller in the 401, you're up next. 401?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Excellent. How we doing?
Good. Who is this?
This is Tanner.
Tanner. First-time caller?
Yes.
Oh, nice. You got a hand for us, Tanner?
I do. Yep. It was a 1-2 game,
Okay.
and I have Ace King in under the gun +1.
So this is a 1-2 game. This is a capped game?
Well, 300 cap. Yeah, we're all about 300 deep.
And where is this played at?
No, this is Foxwoods.
Oh, okay. So 1-2 300 cap game. And you have Ace King under the gun.
Yep, Ace King offsuit under the gun.
Okay.
And it's a three-way pot. So the hijack calls. I raised to 12, and the hijack calls.
Okay.
And then the cutoff comes along as well, and we go three ways to a flop.
And what are the stack sizes approximately?
We're about 300 effective.
So everybody's 300 effective. Okay. Cool.
Roughly. Yeah, a couple of them are a little bit deeper, but yeah, 300 effective.
Okay.
And then the flop is Queen, Jack 10, Rainbow, so we flop the nuts.
Queen,
And,
Jack 10, Rainbow. Okay. Cool.
yep, and so we flop the nuts. I lead out for 20 into a pot of like 36 maybe.
So you lead for 20. Okay.
Yep, and the hijack calls,
Okay.
and the cutoff overcalls. Now, the hijack is, I got a lot of history with the cutoff, the overcaller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty familiar with what he's going to be overcalling with here. The hijack is a bit of a fun player. I mean, I expect him to be in there with a lot of Queen X. I absolutely have him crushed and could definitely get multiple streets from like a lot of different hands. But my concern is when the cutoff overcalls, we're talking about the cutoff is more like an old man coffee type. And I think he's not overcalling light at all. I think, at best he has ace queen, and like we're looking at ace queen plus, but mostly two pair plus, I would imagine.
Well, he could have king, queen, king, jack, king 10, something like that, too. You'd be surprised. But yeah, you're right. You wouldn't expect him to overcall with a 9.
Yeah,
but if you're saying the guy up front is...
Yeah, no, I expect him to fold a 9, and he might overcall with pair plus draw and maybe just see the turn.
Okay.
But in general, he's going to play pretty tight. But on the turn is where it gets interesting as well. So turn is the 7 of clubs that brings in a backdoor club draw.
Okay.
And so I lead out for 40 into a pot of almost 100. It's like 95 maybe.
Okay.
And which might have been on the smaller side, but I wanted to hopefully, if the fun player was in there with a Queen X, I wanted to keep that in there. Or because if anything, I'm expecting the fun player to continue maybe with pair plus draw.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I have the made straight, so I'm happy to let him keep drawing. And then, so I bet 40, hijack calls, cutoff overcalls again. Now we're going three ways to the river. Now, when he overcalls on the turn, I really think he's like super nutted, like two pair plus easily, and he would really, really consider folding a lot of hands that he should probably keep.
Well, you got to, I can see where you're going, but one of the other things that would come out in my mind, though, too, is that appearance of that backdoor club draw. So you start looking at that and you're like, all right, well, he just called the flop and he called the turn. I would start looking at if a club were to come, I would start looking at which card on the flop, is a club he could have. Right. It's probably not going to be King X of clubs because he's probably not calling a raise with like King 5 or something like that pre-flop.
I don't expect him to overcall with too many like suited club hands. So unless but yeah, in general, I'm sure he has some. Well, that's also part of my question is, do you think I should size up here on the turn and try to make sure I'm not going to get drawn out, or is it better to just look for the Queen X value from especially a fun player who, with Queen 10 off is going to peel again, possibly. Well, sorry, not Queen 10.
I think it's fine. Obviously I don't play at this level. of 1-2, but I
Right.
think it probably is a little bit player dependent too. I mean, if you think that that
Right.
guy in the hijack is always going to call with a pair and a straight draw,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah. I
size up
absolutely think he is.
because you want to get
Yeah.
more money in the pot, right?
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's
Um,
not even really. Yeah.
I mean,
The turn, I'm not.
you bet 40 into 95. Yeah, in general, I would probably bet like 75 or something like that.
Okay.
Just because you started with 300, so I'd get more money in there for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And well, then also, like I know that the overcaller definitely once he overcalls the turn, especially, I know he's got all the sets in there as well, and I don't block any of them. So that's also a consideration as well. Like as we go to the river, the river is a queen carrying the top pair. And so now, like, I also have to. So I feel like maybe I should have sized up on the turn because, especially if because I have a lot of history with the overcaller, and I know he's very nutted when he's calling the turn here. He's not feeling here like at all. He's not looking at it like, oh, pot odds. I need to try to just, you know what I mean? When he calls it, he's super nutted. He's got two pair plus basically always. And then if he picked up
All right.
some sort of club
Tanner,
draw.
not that it matters, and I'm not picking on you at all, because all these terms are made up. You know what I mean? Like it's funny. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
asked me, they're like, "Do you know what somebody was trolling me somewhere like on I don't even know. This was months ago." And they're like, do you know what an elastic board is?" And I'm like, "I don't I'm like, I don't sometimes I don't pay attention to these terms. If you told me what someone who said what an elastic board was when they made the term up 8 years ago, I'm sure I would understand it. The reason why I'm saying this is because you're using the term nutted not really correctly in the way that people think about nutted. The
No,
guy's
I
not
understand that. He
nutted.
has a very strong. Obviously, I
Okay.
have the nut, and he can't have
One
the
of the
nut. But
other
yeah,
things too is that I wouldn't really be concerned about sets all that much in the sense that I think that pocket queens re-raise. Forget about what the river comes. I think pocket queens three bets a lot. Maybe Jackson tens don't,
right.
but
Well, I want to just actually, yeah, this is actually important. I'm sorry.
but
So,
the other thing though too is that you know you have to overlay the fact that he doesn't three bet pre-flop with jacks or tens, and he also doesn't raise the flop or doesn't raise the turn. I'm not super concerned about sets. Now, two pair, yeah, may for sure. Queen is a bad card. You say the river's a queen, yeah, that's certainly a bad card for you.
right. Well, this is where my actual question is. So on the river,
Uh huh.
we're looking at a pot of like $200, a little over $200.
Yeah.
And what is my line here? Is it ambitious to look for value from Queen X, considering that I've had an overcaller on a relatively like static? I mean, it's not really static. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, am I looking for value here with Ace King on the river, considering I've had an overcaller twice now,
Yeah,
and now the
absolutely.
board is paired? Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
you've
So
got 225 left. I mean, you've got 225 left, okay?
right.
So in your stack, right? Or yeah, 225 left. The pot is 200. I mean, I think that you can easily bet. I mean, the thing is that if you want to see, here's the thing in 1-2 though, too, right? That I don't
Mm-hmm.
really come across in my own game is like, and I don't know the answer to this. Like, if you bet the river like 125, are there some guys that are so clueless that are just going to move in with a queen? Like, is that hijack guy going to move
No,
in because he thinks that
no,
ace
I
queen's
don't. I
the
don't believe
nuts?
so. Well,
Okay.
I'll show you the river action, and you can tell from that. So I bet
Mm-hmm.
65, which is relatively
65?
small.
You bet
Yeah, I know. Yep.
65?
Well, again, because I actually, like I said, I have a lot of history with the overcaller, and I'm very confident in what his range is. And so the board is now paired. I now bet, like I'm not losing to Jack 10, Queen Jack, all the sets. I bet out very small, and I was looking to bet fold.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, maybe this is all just results oriented, but I understand at better games, I wouldn't necessarily, I want to kind of get an answer maybe at like a 5-10 what you would do in this spot. But what happened here, I bet 65. The hijack calls,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cutoff jams all in for about 180, basically minus what I had left, and I basically insta muck. And the hijack, because like I said, I was bet folding ace king there very confidently. Hijack calls with my exact hand. He also had ace king, and the cutoff turns over queen jack of clubs for the full house.
Okay. So, I
So I
mean,
don't know.
when you bet
Go ahead.
60, so he had queen jack of clubs, so he flopped top two, and then he turned
Right,
to club
overcalled.
draw, and
Right.
then I mean, what's the I don't really see the problem with the way that you played the hand. Besides, I would just bet
Okay.
larger on the turn. You're not trying to not get
Okay.
drawn out. You're just trying to get stacks in. I mean, at
Yeah,
the
it
end,
was right. It was just more of a sizing question, and then like in a 5-10 game, what are you like doing with Ace King there? Like, you know what I mean? Does he really have a lot of? Can he really be bluffing in that spot? Then, because like I understand his range very well, but like in a spot where like, against a trickier player, like I know that I can bet fold Ace King there and not get exploited. But against somebody else, are you just sizing up there, like you said, maybe betting like 150 and then bet folding it still,
well,
or are you?
why are you scared that a guy is going to bluff raise you at the end when you bet 3 times on a board like this? When you can
Yeah,
have easily a full house, you're going to
right,
usually have Ace King or a full house. Do you think that
right.
a guy from behind is going to try to bluff you off of that range?
No, I guess not. No, I was just curious. Okay, I just was
Yeah.
just concerned about sizing and wanted to get your opinion.
Okay, cool. I don't know. Oh, I got to mute. All right. Thank you very much for the call, Tanner. I hope you can call again, okay?
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, cool. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.